meant something.
Of course it did. It's fantastic, you know, for the fans and the players, the team, the whole club. To be able to beat ManCity at home is important. We've not done it for a while, so it was a big game for us.
We played good in terms of the way we played. We missed a little bit the first half. We had a lack of aggressivity in the final third. The second half was better, but we played a good performance.
We need to do better. Not acceptable to play this way and to lose 2-0 here with the team that we have. Very bad performance, in my opinion.
Obviously, in a Manchester derby, you want to get one over on your rivals, and it's a good win, but it's a big 3 points as well for us in terms of the table and where we want to be at the end of the season.
You've now got that consistency of 10 games unbeaten. You've beaten Manchester City twice. Is that kind of a symbol of the progress you're making?
Well, I don't know. We feel that we're improving as a team, as a squad, as a group together. We feel the fans, they want us to do well, and they see what we're doing. So we're getting better and better, but we need to keep plugging away.
The reaction of the United fans inside Old Trafford made that feel, from their point of view, more than just 3 points in a derby.
Absolutely, it was a fantastic atmosphere, and the Manchester United players reacted to that. They fed off that, and they were the better team. They deserved to win. They had some huge performances in there. Matic, Fernandes and Fred in the midfield dominated. Wan-Bissaka at right back, which Jermaine will talk about in a minute. Just under 28% possession, but when they had the ball, they looked a threat.
Still with the first goal, there will be plenty of City fans, maybe all City fans, who think this was slightly harsh to have been given as a foul.
Yeah, I think it's soft. To be honest with you, I don't believe this is a foul. I think when Gundogan comes in, he nicks a good portion of the ball. Yes, he probably catches Fernandes there, but contact is part of the game. There's not enough there, in my opinion, for the foul to be given. But the foul was given, and then from that point, it was brilliant.
I think it is a foul. I think he takes the ball and the man. You can see he goes into with the back of his knee. But having said all that, City should defend it better. But what about that for a run, and the pass from Fernandes is on the money, on the spot. There you go. Thanks very much. Keeper should do better. But to get the ball there in the first place and connect with it as he did, Martial, it's fantastic.
I think that Fred arm in the air was the trigger for him to
Absolutely. They've worked on that on the training ground, and it's worked to perfection.
I'll mention some of the individual performances that you could have picked out from a United perspective. He said that you're going to look at Wan-Bissaka, but mainly because that was a duel you wanted to see him against Sterling.
Well, we know defending, but the 1v1 battle between himself and Sterling was something I was really looking forward to, and it was something that Wan-Bissaka came out on top of during the game. It was a difficult afternoon, I thought, for Sterling, especially in that first half. Wan-Bissaka's body shape here is telling Sterling where he wants him to go. He's dictating this movement here. He's saying, go on, you go down there and I'll take it off you. And obviously, people like Fred was biting at people's heels all day long. This one I particularly like because it's the inside run from Sterling. Sterling's been clever now. He's trying different things, but his body shape is good again. You can see where Sterling's trying to come from. Look how low he gets here. He's saying to Raheem Sterling, go on, you try it, and I'm going to be on you. And this is occasion where Raheem does give it a go. He thinks, right, I'm going to take you to the line. No, he's got that reach of his legs. He must be so annoying to play against because he doesn't give you a second to breathe. His legs are everywhere. This is the side of his game that he probably needs to work on. Going forward, brilliant, but that's not a difficult ball. He needs to be calm in these situations. He needs to get his head up and pick people out. He was a bit rash and got a little bit too excited in a really important moment. But he does show here that he is capable of doing it. He can, when he gets into these areas, playing lovely little delicate balls for his strikers to go and tap. But this was the moment for me of the match from his point of view. It's the first time that they actually lost him. Gabriel Jesus got the other side of him. But look at the ground that he makes up to make the tackle as well. It's a big tackle in a big moment during the game for him. What a performance.
To kids watching, and I can remember playing as a kid, and you're taught all the time, keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the ball. Is that what he does in the defensive? It never looks at the player's legs or what they might be doing, always Correct. On the ball.
It's exactly that. I mean, if you look at Raheem's body movements, every now and again he's throwing in a little body kind of swerve to try and throw Wan-Bissaka off. He's just calm, Wan-Bissaka. He just keeps his feet, he gets low, and he's kind of just saying, listen, I'm not going to move, you're going down that line, and if you go down there, I'm taking the ball off you. And it was as an impressive performance in such a big game for Man United that I've seen from from himself. It was brilliant.
Yeah, United's defence in general has improved over the last couple of months. But how much did Manchester City play into their hands, if you will?
Yeah, a bit of both. There was certainly no penetrating that back line of United's. It was very, very solid. They got men behind the ball, and they had Sterling one side, Foden on the other side. Sorry, and Aguero down the middle, and it was sideways, it was backwards, and there was not enough options to go for because they were outnumbered. It was a sea of red shirts in there. There was just no way through at all. Same thing again. Okay, they come out to the left-hand side, they move it, and look at the numbers around there, 3 and 4, and that was a constant, particularly in that first half. When they got there, then Lindelof clears it, and away they go again, Manchester United. First thought again is when Silva gets onto this ball here, this pass, have a look. He's having a look around, he's looking at his options, there isn't any. He cannot go forward at all. So what does he do? He comes back out, comes there, and that's it. The problem is gone for Manchester United. And it was far, far too easy for them. Second half, first 3 or 4 minutes, same thing again. Aguero comes short. There's no one running in behind at all for that back three. But then it sort of changed. 1v1 wasn't a problem either for Williams, so I thought he was exceptional as well. Jermaine mentioned the right back. 1v1, not a problem for him, for Foden. But then Foden goes inside, and Mahrez comes out on this right hand side. Then all of a sudden they've got people getting into the box. They've got 1v1 on that side now. They're now causing different problems. He whips the ball across in there. All right, no one gets on the end of it. Similar thing again. Great ball this time. Sterling should be in the back of the net. But I mentioned the numbers behind the ball and how well they defended Man United. They were magnificent as Man United. They were magnificent as a team. Didn't have a lot of the ball in possession, but that is what they did so impressively. No way through. Too many red shirts. They were magnificent.
Think Mahrez should have started?
Yes, he definitely caused more problems trying to get in behind. He offered that little bit of trickery on that right-hand side. Certainly offered more than Foden did anyway.
The bigger picture for Manchester United then, as they chase a Champions League spot, do you think Solskjaer, given how they've turned it round in recent weeks, but also their performances against sides in the top 6 this season, do you think he isn't getting enough credit?
I don't think he is getting enough credit. I think he deserves a lot more now because of the way he's turned them around. There's a lot of negativity around them. He's got the player that he wanted in January and Fernandes. He has changed them. I think he's improving the players around him also. They've added 10% to their game because whenever he gets that ball, it's can they go forward? And every player in and around him is reacting to that. And they're a much better team for him in there. And he deserves more credit, does Solskjaer.
Look, when the criticism came of Ollie, I thought it was warranted, personally. I thought there were too many indifferent performances, I think, over the last, particularly 10 games I can think of where keeping more clean sheets, look much better going on the offensive side of things. The biggest thing I saw today, and kind of what it was prior, is I used to see a Manchester United team kind of line up in big games, hoping. With the formation that they would put up and the way they would play, it was more hopeful. Whereas today I saw a belief in Manchester United and Old Trafford. They went out there, stuck their chests out, and there was a belief. It felt like United again, all of a sudden. And I think that's why the place lit up, and it's why the players responded. And you can only give that credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for putting that into them. And that is his moment, really, I think, as a Manchester manager. And in terms of the system
they played, they looked comfortable in the system and defending. It's not a problem for them all to sit deep. He played James, played Martial. It worked for them because, again, not for the first time this season, they sat back and then hit them on the break again.
Does that, just a final one on that, does that belief also come from the signing of Bruno Fernandes? And from your experience in professional football, can one person arriving completely change everything?
When you've got someone who comes into your football club with that attitude, with that arrogance, if you like, in a good way, to say, I've got the belief that I can turn this football club around, and he's certainly shown that he's got the ability. I know it's early days, but what he's given everyone else is reacting off him because of the way when he gets that ball, they're all moving. And I didn't see that in a lot of the United games before he arrived.
I think there are certain players in big moments that just have this kind of like calm about them. And when everything's going frantic and everything's crazy and you give them the ball, it's just like, I know what's going on. Just give it to me and everything will be all right. And he already stinks of that. You know, he's got real quality, the fella. He's settled in nicely.